Hello Scentatics, welcome to Fragrance Therapy. I'm your host Alam. So initially I was going to do a standalone review of Rasasi's newest release, which is Hawas Verde. I ordered this as soon as it popped up online, and I was hearing that this was a twist on that LV Pacific Chill DNA. But as soon as I sprayed it, I knew that was not the case. I immediately got French Avenue and Aromatix Platine Blanc vibes with this one. That is in turn inspired by Zerjoff's Torino21. So I thought, in addition to telling you my thoughts about the new Hawas, I'd also let you know how this stacks up against the OG as well as Platine Blanc. And at the end, I'll also let you know which of the two dupes I prefer. So let's jump in. By the way, 80% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel. Please click that like and subscribe button so I can continue bringing you fragrance content. Doesn't cost you a thing, but it really does help out the channel. So quickly, let me tell you about the OG. Now, I don't have a full bottle, but I do have this discovery set from Xerjoff, and Torino21 is one of the fragrances in that set. But I pretty much only use this for testing purposes. Anyway, this one opens with this bright, fresh blast of lemon, mint, and these green herbs of basil and thyme. It is very commonly called like a fresh mint mojito fragrance, and that is a spot-on description. It also adds this aromatic lavender, rosemary, plus a hint of additional fruits with blackcurrant. In the base, you get even more herbs with vervain and a nice dose of musk, giving it this almost like clean laundry vibe. Performance is decent for a freshie, 6 to 7 hours, strong projection for at least that first hour. Now, up until earlier this year, there wasn't any real good dupes of this scent profile, but that all changed when Aromatix and French Avenue released Platine Blanc. Now, the scent profile is very similar between the original and Platine Blanc. They both include this very fresh, citrusy, and photorealistic herbs, but there are some differences. In my opinion, the Aromatix smooths everything out. In this one, they also doubled down on the minty herbs and they omitted the basil and thyme. They focused mostly on mint and rosemary. But in my opinion, the opening for this one does come off a little bit less sharp than the OG. It's a little smoother, it's a little creamier. I've heard people say the exact opposite, but on my skin, that's what I get. The dry down is also a little different. You still get this healthy dose of muskiness with ambergris and musk, but they also added some earthiness and creamy woods with oak moss and sandalwood. I actually think it helps balance the fragrance out a little bit. There's also a small uptick in performance with this one. I got 7 to 8 hours longevity with strong projection for the first couple of hours. This really was a fantastic release from Aromatix and French Avenue. Honestly, I think this is an easier version of the DNA to wear. It's still very close to the original scent profile, no doubt, but in my opinion, they just made it a little bit more mass appealing. So that brings us to the latest release, which is Hawas Verde. So this was a bit of a weird release. They are consistently teasing all the other new releases. With this one, they suddenly announced it and dropped it out of nowhere. Who knows what their strategy behind all this is, but it is what it is. Now look, this also gets really close to the original as well, but there are, again, subtle differences. The opening, I think, is closer to the original, and as it dries down, it actually gets a little bit closer to Platine Blanc. Now, I haven't found consistent note listings online, but you get that same very bright, zesty, and clean opening. This may have the sharpest opening of them all. Apparently, along with the citruses, they added some green apple. The only herb note that I saw listed anywhere, though, was rosemary. Now, I'm a bit surprised that there's no mint listed in any of the notes that I saw online, because you definitely get a healthy dose of mintiness in here. Maybe they're just taking that rosemary and dosing it up, and it has that same effect. And in my opinion, the dry down is a little bit more reminiscent of Platine Blanc, a bit more earthy and sweet than the original. The base also includes patchouli, amber, musk, and woody accords. Right out of the box, this gave me performance in line with Platine Blanc. 7+ hours right out of the box, strong projection for the first hour or so. Now this DNA is very citrusy and it's very, very herbal, and that may not be for everyone. For many people, that minty herbs is just too much. They think it's great for something that you put in a drink, but not as a fragrance. I personally love it. I love how refreshing it is, especially for the warmer months. Now, when it comes to which one I prefer between these two, look, the differences are there, but they're so subtle. You really have to go in looking for those differences. So don't go in expecting like really drastically different experiences. But if you ask me at this moment, I still prefer Platine Blanc. I just find this more wearable, a little bit more mass appealing. Now, this is brand new, just came out of the box. Things might change as it matures, but who knows what happens in the future. This is by no means a bad release. I know that there's a lot of backlash for the Hawas line, but I think they did a good job with the scent profile. But for me, I don't think they did anything different enough to justify picking this one up, especially when you consider that this one is a bit older now, and you can get it for like $10 to $15 cheaper online. Look, they're both solid releases. It's just I prefer this one. If you don't have either and you're looking for maybe a sharper, more louder version of the DNA, then maybe go with this one. Otherwise, just go with the one you get a better deal on. So there you have it, folks. My thoughts on the latest release from Rasasi, how it compares to the OG as well as Platine Blanc. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any of these and what your thoughts are. And please hit that like and subscribe button so I can keep bringing you fragrance content. We're heading towards our goal of 5K subscribers. Every subscription does help. And as always, stay tuned for more affordable fragrance content. Until next time, I'm out.